Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm Nain and I'm going to be your host for today's show. And as always, I'm joined here by Jimothy James.
Jimothy James, that's a new one.
Jimothy James. Lad, how's it going?
I think I'm doing better than you, so I'm okay. My stomach feels good. I feel healthy enough to be on the podcast today, and I'm thankful for that. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sitting on a bucket right now just in case anything leaks.
Oh, that's not the way to start this.
Sorry, guys. Nah, I've had a stomach bug problem, so my stomach is really killing me. I think I ate some spicy food or some bad chicken, but has not been fun.
Well, he just ate a banana, so I think that's going to be the cure for him.
I think so too. It's somewhat settled down, that banana.
And now the red wine's going to come through.
Yeah, it's going to counteract each other. But oh well, we should be fine and we'll tough it out. And if I run off, then James will solo this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So here on the Let's Be Real podcast, we're here to bring you all the latest and greatest news from the entertainment industry, ranging from blockbuster hits to indie flicks. We got it all covered right here. And if you're a real movie buff, be sure to check out moviegames.com for even more exciting content like box office stats, Oscar predictions, and 4K physical media reviews. So today's show, the topics we'll be covering is obviously the weekend box office results, the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning trailer, the trailer for The Creator, the MCU TV series release dates for this year, and then the Cannes Film Festival Week 1 roundup, Killers of the Flower Moon runtime, and Killers of the Flower Moon trailer, and Scorsese teasing retirement as well.
Aww.
Yeah. So sit back, relax, crack open a wine like me, and let's get to it.
Well, that is the cure for your stomachache, by the way. Red wine.
Red wine, yep, 100%. All right, so we'll kick things off at the weekend box office. Fast X just released its opening weekend, and
No sports games.
no sports games.
That's what happens when the Warriors don't play.
Yeah, my team had a bye. So we're just straight into it now because we don't talk about the Sixers.
Yes, they had a big bye forever.
Anyway, Fast X came out. It's its first weekend, and as predicted, it topped the charts this week with 67.5 million. In second place for its third weekend is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with 31.9 million. In third is Mario with 9.8 million. Fourth is Book Club, The Next Chapter with 3 million. And fifth is Evil Dead Rise with 2.37 million. So obviously, let's talk about Fast X and Guardians. Fast X, was this roundabout what you were predicting? And what do you think of the Guardians Week 3 results?
Okay, well, for those that are listening, I cover the box office on the website pretty extensively. And with that, I've gone quite in depth regarding the Fast and Furious franchise with its box office, just because I find it to be very interesting on how the box office for those movies go. As for the domestic market, it's been on a downward trend since Furious 7. And this 67.5, which is I think about $1.5 million under what I predicted for the weekend. And I think it will actually get closer to my prediction when the actual figures come out tomorrow. So for this, it's the lowest since Fast and Furious 4. So it's continuing to go down. It's not, and it's lower than Fast and Furious 9, which came out during the pandemic era. So like,
oh shit,
yeah, exactly. Which was like 2001. Yeah, 2001.
2001.
Oh, 2021. Sorry, I don't like thinking about that year. Yeah. So
what, 2021 or 2001?
2021. Yeah, like 2001. It's a space odyssey for me. That was nice. Yeah, so this was expected. I don't think it's that bad or detrimental. The budget for Fast X is 340 million, so it had to make like at least 1.1 billion to turn a profit.
Yeah.
That budget is ridiculous, and in no way does it look like a $340 million film.
It's probably all the locations.
Yeah, it did open up to 318.8 million globally, which is pretty good. I think it is the third highest post-pandemic, or sixth highest, around there. Third highest of the year, I think.
Yeah.
And higher than Guardians. So that says something. The reason why Fast and Furious is interesting is because it's so skewed towards international audiences.
Yeah.
You know, I think Fate the Furious made like 226 million domestically, and it made like 1.24 billion.
Yeah.
So over $1 billion internationally, and barely anything in the biggest movie film market in the world. So if it continues to, it's trending downwards on both, but domestically it's trending downwards really fast. This franchise or this film is not going to make $1 billion. It is going to lose money for the studio. I think it'll end up around 750 to 800. It really depends on if that cliffhanger or that the ending and the build up to the finale is going to get the old fans that have kind of like said goodbye or are sick of Fast and Furious to come back and see what they're going to do for the final thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen because every single week from this week, there's always new competition. So there's no room for it to do much there. And Fast and Furious, that they're very leggy. They're not very leggy. They're the opposite of leggy. They're very front loaded. They don't have strong multipliers, and they don't make, they don't have really long runs.
Yeah.
You know what does have a long run though? Well, it seems to have a long run is Guardians 3. Yeah, that dropped less than 50% with direct competition.
Which is really good.
Yeah, it's not like The Little Mermaid because that's kind of opposite to where the demographics lie for Guardians. So you could acknowledge why Guardians would be so high if it was Little Mermaid. But Fast X is targeting, around 18 to 35-year-old male audience.
Yeah. And
that's a large part of the MCU movies. So for it to drop less than that, that's great. It shows word of mouth is really in play there. It's catching up to Volume 2, but the way it's looking, it doesn't look like it will catch up just because it opened so far below.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to see this is good because it's going to make more than Guardians 1, and I really just want this to send a message to, Disney, Marvel, and be like, word of mouth is important for our success. Let's focus on making good movies, slow the production down. And yeah, I don't even know how Mario is continuing to dominate. I do, and I get it. It's just that it's available on digital now, so you can it's available on streaming, and it's still making good money and not dropping significantly. That's a huge success. But yeah, otherwise the box office results are going to get very interesting for the next 3 months.
Yeah, I feel stuff like Book Club and Evil Dead Rise and all these minnow films aren't going to feature that heavily from now until probably the end of the year, really.
Evil Dead Rise did very well though for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see it's pretty much going to be the battle of the blockbusters from here on out.
Yeah, I'd say at least until mid-August or something. Yeah, I think there's a few quiet months, but
yeah, I think with every new film release, we pretty much know that film's going to be number one. Pretty much, but I think it'll be interesting to see the week 2 of the new movie releases to see if the older films would
how they cross over, which one has the legs and which one drops significantly.
Yeah,
man, I'm really excited because I always say this and I keep saying it to you. This is the summer movie season where it's back. Ever since 2019, movies are back to complete normalcy, pretty much.
Yeah,
and so now we're gonna it's felt so long. And I've been so deprived as a box office, fan and someone who looked into it really hard of all those battles and how it goes down. So we're going to get that. And June's going to be a bloodbath at the box office.
And then we got the big bloodbath, Oppenheimer v Barbie in July.
I don't know. I don't know where that comes. That's going to be exciting, especially on the back of Mission Impossible's opening.
That is the battle of the Titans.
I think Oppenheimer will win that safely.
Probably. Yeah. But still, it's just fun to hype up and whatnot.
It's fun to hype up.
But speaking of Mission Impossible coming out before Oppenheimer and Barbie, we were treated with the, not sure if it's the final or the second. I'm pretty sure it's the second one I've seen at least.
It'll be a final a week before launch or something.
Probably. But we got a new trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we just watched it. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Do you think it gave away too much or did it just tease you just enough?
In terms of the story, I don't think it gave away too much at all. I thought the marketing in relation to the trailer was it held back enough I got more excitement from seeing more of the action and kind of how that plays out instead. I still don't really know where the story is going. All I know is that I can kind of see or like feel that it feels like kind of the beginning of the end for Ethan Hunt's story, because this is part one of a finale, because Dead Reckoning is the final story in the Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible series. So like the part one is just going to be severe in terms of how or like the stakes are going to be really high for Ethan, I feel. And I think the trailer kind of showed us that there's serious stakes in there, but I don't know what the stakes are, and I'm probably going to go into the movie to learn that, because I don't think I'd watch another trailer for this, because if it was, there would just be some last minute trailer for the last people that aren't interested in it yet or something like that. But yeah, Mission Impossible has always been a series where I go for the action and the visuals more than the story. And I think with Fallout, I changed that, because I love the story for Fallout, the way it builds up, its action and its dramatic storytelling was just so well done. And the finale was just, or the climax of the film, it was so perfectly built up. The pacing and editing of it was insane as well. And, with Christopher McQuarrie kind of owning this franchise now, there's more to be excited about than just the action, than just the stunts, or just the visuals, or even more than the score. Like I think Ghost Protocol, the fourth one, that one kind of revitalized the franchise again. And 5 was good, 4 was good as well, and then 6 took it to a whole new level. And now the whole team, in terms of the cinematographer, the composer, editor, and Christopher McQuarrie, who's writing it, alongside Tom Cruise, I think they have a complete grasp on how this franchise is, what it should look like, how it should play out. And I think we're in for like another visual action masterpiece with this. I think this goes beyond what John Wick has done.
Yeah.
And man, I need to watch this in front of a IMAX screen, because I'm like, my computer does not give this justice right now. I'm like, no.
Definitely not.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
Pretty much exactly what you thought.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think the lighting in particular is going to be fantastic in this film.
Ooh, yeah.
There's just shots of Ethan Hunt running down like a dark hallway that's literally just lit by candles. That's amazing. Then you get your dark nightclub sort of scenes with like the neon lights and whatnot. I think cinematography, production as well is just going to be outstanding. And then add on to the fact that Tom Cruise is doing all of his stunts, and majority of it is fucking ridiculous. Just adds to that as well. So I don't think I can add much more to what you said.
I mean, I completely agree. And you brought up a good point about like production. The fact that, Tom Cruise is doing all his own stunts, and they're doing it in the real locations.
Yeah.
You're seeing these characters walk, in Venice, and then, they're walking in Rome. Like that just adds so much, because you always get that feeling of when it's fake or when it's like a green screen backdrop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have them walk there and be there, it's going to be, it's just going to be like so grounded in reality that you're going to feel kind of the action like times 10.
It should be good. It should be good.
Oh, it's going to
Cannot wait. July.
Because part 2 comes out next year, I believe.
Does it?
I believe so. I don't know if it was filmed back to back though. That's my only thing, because if it wasn't filmed back to back,
it would have been filmed a while ago, because I remember it was supposed to originally release in around about that 2019, 2020.
Yeah, they've been filming for ages, Like
so
back in COVID times.
Yeah, they would have had to have filmed it back to back.
Comes out next year, 2024.
Same time, July?
It's just 2024 so far. But it was planned to be filmed back to back, but it changed because Tom Cruise had to leave to do promotion for the Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
So they've probably filmed by now, I would say. But yeah, I've heard a bunch of stuff in terms of test screenings. I've heard have been amazing for this. Like I think it was like the original cut was like 4 hours, and they did test screenings for that. And the Paramount boss was like, "Oh, it's just amazing. It blew everyone away." But 4 hours is too long, and I think they've cut it down to around 3 hours or 2 hours 50 from what I heard. Just speculative at this time, but
could be a long one.
It's gonna. There's so many long movies
There are.
Yeah.
Especially in these like finale type movies, like what's it called? Fuck, it slipped my No Time to Die. There was a finale for
Yes.
James Bond, and that
Yeah.
was quite lengthy.
Yeah.
Even these Fast and Furious films are quite lengthy.
That one's long, yep.
the final ones.
Even Guardians, like 2 hours 35, something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it soon, but Killers of the Flower Moon's gonna be long. Oppenheimer's 3 hours. Like there's just
And that all started with even the Batman last year.
3 hours.
Avatar as well.
3 hours, 12 minutes, yeah.
Endgame, if you want to go even more further. Another
Yeah.
3 hour
It just seems to be more and more now.
I guess people don't mind that 3 hour. We'll probably touch on this soon anyway.
Yeah.
But they don't mind that runtime if the quality is good.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways. I don't want to go into, even if the movies are great, I don't want to go into every movie knowing it's going to be 3 hours and 15 minutes. It's just too much time, I feel.
Yeah.
We'll dive into this kind of stuff a little bit later, eh?
A little bit later. Yeah. Oh, nope. Sorry. My enabled, what is it? Dictation? I don't know.
The iPhone
thing came up and
it's very annoying.
Yep. We'll move on now. We'll get rid of that notification. The next trailer we're going to be discussing is The Creator. So this one just seemingly dropped out of nowhere. I've never heard about it until this trailer dropped. It is directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One, Godzilla, the 2014 one, and I think he did Rise of Skywalker. Can't remember. If he did
No, he didn't. J.J. Abrams.
Did he? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he did Star. Oh, must be thinking of Rogue One.
Yeah, he did Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One. It's starring John David Washington.
The protagonist. Is he the protagonist?
I don't know. Seems like it. Good joke though. Just watching the trailer, it seems like a very sci-fi type of film where humans are trying to, where AI has taken over the world. Funnily enough, surprise. And now the humans are pretty much fighting for their survival. So, James, you watched the trailer. What did you think of this film? And I don't really want to know if you think it's going to be good or not, but just are you intrigued in this concept?
You don't want to know that.
Okay, sure, you can tell me.
Wow, that was kind of like rude. I will say this movie is releasing at the optimal time. There's no better time to release an AI taking over the human race more than now. I think 2023, I think it will be known, unless something significant happens, as the beginning of the AI era, because we're in it now and, we're seeing it's always constantly there. ChatGPT is huge now. Google's got their one coming out. The Bing AI thing. AI is huge. And the Snapchat AI. Don't forget about him.
I hate that one.
Have you played around with it? Yeah, it's very annoying. Yeah, so good time to release it. Maybe that might help it in terms of box office or just getting people to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that to happen because I see this and I'm like, this is a high budget sci-fi original blockbuster. Do you know how rare that is now?
Very.
That's not related to any film, franchise, or anything. I don't know if this is based on like a novel or something like that.
I'm not sure.
Regardless, this is still an original property in terms of the film medium, if you will. And that's what I love, and that's what I've been complaining about a lot. I just want more original material in the cinemas. Obviously, if the content is good, the content is good, absolutely. But having an original property just adds a little bit more freshness and excitability to myself because I have no idea what to expect. And while that is good, I go back in terms of I think about the stuff that have come before in terms of original high budget sci-fi movies. Or even just any high budget original blockbuster. And the results aren't that good from my memory. I think about stuff like The Lone Ranger. There's what is it? John Carter?
Oh yeah, John Carter.
John Carter. Yeah,
flopped.
I think about that one. Valerian.
Mm-hmm.
I think about those movies.
After Earth as well.
See, these are all high budget original stuff. And I can understand that there's a risk for the studio by making something like this. So I just want it to be good.
Yeah.
That's the second thing that it needs to be. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I would say I'm cautiously optimistic
Yeah.
because I know how these things can go. You also think about those original properties that start off and they're really good, and then everyone's really excited, and this is a completely new thing, and then it bursts a whole new franchise from it. So perhaps this can be that.
This
We'll
could-
have to see.
Yeah. This could be like the new Terminator, so to
Yeah.
speak. You know, they both have similar premises, except back then it was robots over AI.
Yeah.
I guess, watching this trailer for me, that's what I could think of was like Terminator and iRobot.
I was gonna say robot. Yeah.
Like it has that similar feel to it, but
Mm.
but robots and AI, like an argument can be made whether they're the same thing or not. I think it's different. Both things are
Robots
different.
versus AI.
Robots and AI. To me, they're two separate things.
I think they're two different things, but they can be combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have pretty much the same thoughts as you.
Mm.
I'm actually quite excited for this just because it's going to be so fresh, especially with this blockbuster season where everything's either a sequel, a remake, or part of a big franchise. And
Yeah.
then just getting this is going to be refreshing.
Especially because it comes out in September, so like
Yeah.
it's gonna come after all this big wave of blockbusters and stuff like that. So it'll be a good like middleman between the end of year good stuff and the stuff we're gonna get in the next couple months.
Palette cleanser.
Palette cleanser, yeah, you throw that term around a lot, but it does apply. I'm just glad that Gareth Edwards is the one directing this.
Yeah.
I think he's a great action sci-fi director. He is very good. I think he's one of the best in the business at, showing scale in movies. Do you remember like sequences in Rogue One? He just puts you on the ground with the protagonist. I'm using that one genuinely. That he puts you on the ground with them and he shows you kind of what they're going through. It feels very point of view centric.
Yeah.
And Rogue One, it's got them running across the ground and looking up at the AT-AT.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then you got the Godzilla and you see it like you're like looking up and he's right there kind of thing. Yeah, he's very good at that, and I hope that he brings that kind of realistic, grounded directing style to a movie like this. I think it could be very visually interesting as well.
Even the poster for this, have you seen the poster for it?
No.
Oh, look, it looks pretty creative.
Oh, yes, sorry, I did see that one.
Yeah. Like, I think it's a really fantastic
It's nice.
poster for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like almost seems like it's just like hand drawn or painted rather than, like the shit posters we get, the typical posters we get nowadays.
Yeah.
So I think if the film can like stick to people, sorry, I just showed my phone to James. We're not on video yet, but
One day, if you support the show, subscribe and like.
And that's our plug. But go to Google because we don't have video, so we can't show you. So Google it and you'll know
It's a
what we're
nice
talking
poster.
about. Yeah, but I think if the film can like keep this sort of visual type style, and obviously it's gonna be CGI heavy, but if it can like tone that down minimal and at least have the cinematography to be that sort of level, I think it could be like the story could be bad, but it could be one of those like this film is a must watch for the visuals alone.
I think I didn't like Godzilla that much. I thought the story was pretty bad for that, and I'll say that for Rogue One as well. I didn't like Rogue One. Some people did. I liked the last scene for Rogue One.
Because everyone died.
Huh? No, because of the Darth Vader scene.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
How could you forget about that? So I think he blends CGI and realism like well together. I have no complaints about the CGI or the visual style done between Rogue One or Godzilla. I think they're brilliant in terms of that. So you're right. I think hopefully he can bring that to this movie as well.
Wait until September.
Yeah.
All right, next topic is we finally have the TV series release dates for the MCU films. So obviously this coming June, we've got Secret Invasion, and a bunch of character posters were just released today. So head over to Google because we're not on video yet, so I can't show you, and check them out. They're pretty creative. The one after Secret Invasion is Loki, and that releases on the 6th of October. And that's going to be episode by episode every week. And then we have Echo on the 29th of November, and they have decided to drop all the episodes at once for that series. So I guess, are you excited for all of these? Yes to the first two, I assume. And then
We're gonna assume it.
I assume. And then, well, what are your thoughts on the on this Echo where they're just going to drop all the episodes at once?
Wait. Sorry. So with Secret Invasion, that's 6th of June, was it? What did you say?
June. I think it's June 21st. I don't know exactly.
June 21st.
I think it's late June.
Late June. All right. I think, and I was under the assumption that the MCU TV shows this year was just Loki and Secret Invasion,
Mhm.
and I was really happy about that because, well, I've seen Secret Invasion trailer and I think it looks really good. Secret Invasion is a great comic book storyline as well, so I was excited for that. And Loki, I was very against Loki season 1. I was like,
You
again,
were.
like he's bringing him back. I kept saying it so much, and then I was the biggest hype man of Loki when it came
You
out.
actually were. You just wouldn't shut up about it. I was like, bro, fuck off, man.
It was so good though. That score just brought everything together,
It did.
and the story was so good and intense as well. So I'm very excited for those two, and it allows the MCU to breathe without having too much MCU in my face. And I think in terms of the Echo dropping all the episodes at once, I feel like maybe that is a response to how people are taking so much MCU stuff. They obviously announced a bunch of property or projects coming out and made them all. And so they have to release it sometime, but they don't want to bombard people. I think, and this may not be a popular opinion, just drop all the episodes for everything all at once.
Yeah, Netflix does it and it works.
Yeah. Or you can do the Stranger Things Volume 1, Volume 2, if you want to build up anticipation that way. But I think if you're going to have, 4 MCU or 3 or 4 MCU movies a year, then you need to really just tone it down on the TV side of things. But you can get away with it if you drop all the episodes all at once, because it's here, then it's gone.
Mm.
If you're going to have something that is around for 8-9 weeks, then in the audience's mind, that's just 9 weeks of MCU content in a row. And if you're doing that for two seasons, 2 different shows, that's 18 seasons. And that's like nearly a third of the year. Like, that's ridiculous. So it's just too much. And yeah, I like the idea of Echo dropping all at once.
Mhm.
It means that I might actually watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
I am too busy on a week-to-week basis to sit down and watch a whole hour or something. And what if I don't like it?
Yeah.
But there's, a weekend where I can just watch a few episodes at a time and just get that out of the way. So I think something like Echo will be easier to watch. Obviously, I'm going to watch the other two because I'm excited for them and I hope they're good. But I don't know if that is the reason behind it, if it's a response to people complaining about too much MCU. Kind of feels like MCU is just doing this because they kind of want it to be there and gone, out of people's heads. I heard that the test screenings were great for it. So it's mind-boggling to some people from what I've read. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I guess, I have to watch it because I got to review it. So yeah.
I mean, we can always
what about
not
you?
review it.
No, we got to review it.
No, but there's an option.
With Daredevil's in it.
King.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly.
I wonder how they're going to communicate.
Oh wait, because Echo's deaf.
And Daredevil's blind. So it's going to be very interesting, but that's probably yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so how do you feel about Echo dropping everything at once?
I'm one of those people that would rather have all the episodes drop at once.
Mm.
Just because I think nowadays we'll get into that trend and that lifestyle of binge watching stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably why Netflix dominates so much. I mean, Stranger Things, even Wednesday, like no one expected that to be so big, and then it's just big. It's like all the episodes drop at once, and then the word of mouth just continues it,
Yeah.
and it brings them back onto that platform for X amount of hours, rather than just
Yeah.
being on like there for like an hour and then leaving.
I don't think Wednesday would have been as big if it did 1 episode per week.
I don't think so, because
Yeah.
that was a series that didn't really quite have a cliffhanger sort of ending. It was just more of a, oh, I wonder what happens next. next episode.
Yeah. I think it really depends on the show.
Yeah.
Because something like Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision, I like them being week to week because we were theorizing like crazy. We're like, oh, what's going to happen? We were excited throughout the week. But if it's going to be week to week, you got to have a really good series, and it has to justify that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think TV shows in general are still stuck in that sort of era of week to week. I think there's about 3 currently that I'm watching right now. That's week to week. But otherwise, I'd just rather have all the episodes drop all at once.
I think stuff like House of Dragon and Last of Us, you don't have them all at once. That's too much. I couldn't do
they're
that.
real content heavy and a lot's happening.
And you want to digest it slowly as it comes. Yeah. If they were to drop those kind of stuff all at once, I'd be like, it'd be like a whole like week dedicated to like watching that.
Yeah, but stuff like I don't know, The Flash. That's a series that can easily just drop.
You're watching that final season?
I am. I think
it finished this week.
I think the last episode watches it. So 9 years of dedication is finally pulling off. It's like,
did you watch every season?
It got to the point where it was like Big Bang Theory. I was just watching it, and then the quality was going down. But I was like committed to watching this series. I was like, I might as well just stick with it to the end. So yeah.
I don't know how you did that. I stopped. I think start of the 4th season. I was like, well, it's the same thing again.
Now, when I say I did the same as you, but when I say watch, it's like it's in the background and do other stuff.
So you know what's happened, but you weren't like focused on it.
Not like, oh, let's get some popcorn, let's quick open a beer, let's
eyes
watch
glued to the screen.
Yeah. I might do it for the last. Episode. Make something and have a beer just because it's the final season. And it was
fair enough.
Was a really good TV series as well. Like the first 2 seasons.
Those first 2 seasons were great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it just dipped down, but that's a CW for you.
Yeah. I think something like from what you're saying in terms of binge watching, Ted Lasso, which we're watching right now, that needed to be dropped all at once.
This particular season or
all the seasons?
All the seasons.
It is not a show that is. I don't need to digest it every week.
I think it's like comedy series is very much like that. There's no point in waiting week to week for it. You might as well just drop it all at once.
Because we binged the first season straight away. I did it in one night. Oh, I think I did it over 2 nights actually, because I hadn't seen the rest of it. Like it was in the middle of season 2 by the time I started watching it. So I had the whole first season to do it, and I loved it. And then season 2 was like it felt too slow, like being week to week, because that's when I caught up to it. Now I'm watching season 3, and we'll have a lot more thoughts on this coming soon. But I think you're right. Sometimes it needs to be all at once.
Yeah, because you messaged me to watch Ted Lasso, and you wouldn't tell me what it's about. Because I asked you what's it about, and it's like just watch it.
Oh, because I knew it was soccer, and you're like, oh, soccer. Like I hate soccer for no reason, so I'm not going to watch it.
I hate it because
it's popular.
I can't say the reasons, but yeah. But yeah, like I watched it and I messaged you straight away and I was like, I haven't been hooked on this TV series since Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's now been dethroned because The Last of Us took that over. But yeah, for like a show to like get me that engaged was fucking good and
so good, yeah.
And I was so annoyed that I just had to stop halfway through season 2. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I was like, sort of wish like you told me like at the end of season 2, be like, oh man, watch this.
Nah, because I remember I was in the middle of like the 3rd episode. I was like, okay, I got to get everyone here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told like so many people, and everyone got hooked on it. And then they told me they got like other people hooked on it, and I was like, oh, I spread to us around.
It's a virus. It's the reason why it's doing so well.
Yeah, and now season 3, everyone's gonna. I expect everyone to come back to me that I recommended it to and be like, why?
Just back because the first 2 seasons. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah. They can't be mad at that.
All right, moving on from TV series talk, we get to the big one, Cannes Film Festival. That was. The first week was this week, and it's the first film festival of the year.
Starts the circuit, yeah.
And there were some big films that came out this week alone, and there's still a lot more big ones to come. You still got Asteroid City, Elemental, and a few indies along the way. For this one, there's probably about 4 I want to talk about. I'll just mention what I want to talk about for one film, and then ask you a question. Move on. Yep, cool. First one is Jean du Barry. That is
Johnny Depp one.
Johnny Depp one. Yep,
yeah.
Johnny Depp one. It's got a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's not the question I want to ask. I want to ask what happened in this is that after the film, everyone gave Johnny Depp a massive standing ovation and went on for quite a while. For what he's been through over these past few years and to receive that reception, do you think?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't even know what my question was. Like, do you think this is like obviously this will mean so much to him, but do you think this is sort of giving him hope to like get back into acting a bit more regularly? And obviously, it's good to see an actor that's gone through all this.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. He's gone through a lot, and I mean, watching the video from the reaction to the film as a whole, and obviously his performance, he was clearly emotional by the response, by the standing ovation. So acting and the validation he gets from it are clearly important to him. So it really depends on what he wants, because I remember hearing about if he was offered a certain amount, would he go back to Disney and Jack Sparrow and whatnot? And I think his answer was definitely not. No way. And I guess fair enough after the way he was treated by Disney.
Yeah.
And then, that's a question. Where does he go in terms of acting? At Warner Brothers, they kicked him off Fantastic Beasts. And, why would he want to associate with that kind of studio again? So it's like
Universal.
Yeah, Universal. That's where Nolan is. So comparing.
I would actually love to see him in a Nolan film. Sorry.
It would be interesting for sure. But it really depends on what Johnny Depp wants and all, because he's the one that's gone through this, and it is nice to see a redemption arc for somebody that was villainized for the wrong reasons, and proved with a fair trial in court that he wasn't who he was made out to be by the media. And so when that happens, and he's received punishment for something he did not do, it is very nice, and I love to see when he gets that kind of recognition. In terms of where he wants to go with acting, if he wants to just do independent stuff, then all for him. I'll watch his stuff when it comes around. If it's big blockbusters, I'll watch that too. It's really what he wants to do. In terms of what I would want for the rest of his career, something in line with like kind of what Brendan Fraser is doing. I want to see a really visceral, raw performance from Johnny Depp. I want him to get on the Oscar scene. That would be truly beautiful to see. But if he somehow comes back to Disney for a Jack Sparrow thing, is offered like $100 million to do it, I'm not going to complain at that, because I love those movies and I'm not afraid to admit that. So he can come back if he wants to. What about you?
Yeah, on the same page as you. I sort of want to see Johnny Depp break from this, like, stereotype. Like, every actor has a stereotype. Like, The Rock plays The Rock, and and Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds, and Johnny Depp's one is he always plays that weird, creepy, quirky sort of character.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see him be in like a more serious, grounded sort of properly acting rather than just, I don't know, being weird.
Yeah. He does them well.
I know he does, but there's just so many films that I've seen of him, of his, that is just, that stereotype.
Yeah. So much. Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see him like do like what Brendan Fraser did last year and like deliver an Oscar-worthy performance. And
exactly.
Hopefully we get that from this film.
Yeah.
Obviously the reactions have sort of leaned towards that.
Yeah. So the film's rotten. So
film's rotten. I don't know what the percent is, but it's definitely rotten.
Wow. Yeah. I couldn't say if this is his entryway back into Hollywood or getting offers again, but it's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Small steps.
Honestly, like if he was to retire today, I wouldn't mind. Like at this point, I just want someone who's gone through that just to be happy and just live life without having to worry about that extra stuff that really, I guess, put him through like a really traumatic state through the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, moving on to another rotten film that came out of nowhere is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So this is one where me and James were somewhat on the fence about the whole time, like we knew what we were going to get, but it looked like a fun action film, and it was directed by James Mangold as well. James always says never doubt on James never
I don't think I said never. I said it's James Mangold, don't doubt him.
Don't doubt him. Well, doubt.
Yeah, you can get a little bit of doubt.
So Harrison Ford got a massive standing ovation as well, and he was really emotional about it. He had tears and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. It's his last performance as Indiana Jones as well. Probably he's going to be his last. I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Yeah.
So he's obviously saying goodbye to a character that pretty much put him on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Han Solo.
Yeah.
But the reviews started to come out now, and I can't remember what it was. Did it drop into like the 40s before it climbed its way up?
It's at 50 now.
Yeah, it's at 50 now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
so
30 reviews.
yeah, so imagine getting a standing ovation by all these film critics going home, Harrison Ford cracking open a nice whiskey after doing a job well done, going online and seeing that score. He's just like, oh, really? But we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into the score and does this affect your hype for the film?
Right, it's interesting. It got like a 5-minute standing ovation, and then these reviews come out. I read when Top Gun debuted at Cannes last year, it got a 5-minute standing ovation. And so to have the same standing ovation for a movie that's amazing, and then a movie that has 50% on Rotten Tomatoes with 30 reviews is very surprising. I also find this really mind-boggling because studios do not debut. They usually don't debut a movie so far away from the release date. This is like the end of June. This movie comes out so early. If they know it's going to get bad reviews or bad reception, like Disney clearly thought they had a really good movie here, and I guess they don't. It's still like, if you think about it, half of the reviews half the critics thought it was good and half thought it was bad. So it's not like awful.
Yeah,
but it's still like Disney thought this was going to be a really big movie. In terms of Mangold, and I always root for the guy, and I will still continue to root for him because the biggest difference here is that he's working with Disney.
Yes.
And we know Disney's kind of strangle on creative directors. I mean, Logan's outside of Disney. At the time it was. I guess now it's not. And
his upcoming Star Wars film is
Fast and Furious. The upcoming Star Wars is. So it gives me a little bit of a pause for concern now, because I feel like if Mangold is directing Indy, and I obviously could be really wrong. I'm just speculating here. But Disney really could have had like a hand saying no, Indy needs to end this way, or whatever it may be. And so it's forcing him to make adjustments where he didn't want to. That's not his vision.
Yeah.
I think Disney's quite manipulative in that sense. So it could be the Disney effect with Mangold directing this. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but it gives me a reason to be concerned. And it gives me a reason to be concerned about Dawn of the Jedi one as well. But yeah, in terms of my hype for this movie, I'm still excited. I think because it still looks like a fun adventure movie. And I do believe we're going to get a fun adventure movie. I just don't know if the end product will be like, whoa, or like I don't know if it'll be like the emotional goodbye to Indy or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just, it seems like it's going to miss the mark on ending an iconic character and closing out a franchise in a really big way, but it will still have the fun adventure blockbuster popcorn flick that it can be. I think it can be that, and I'll have a good time with it, but I don't think I'll love it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much same boat as you are. I wasn't really overly excited for this film when it was first announced. I was like, really, that fourth one's a bit, was pretty shit. And then they announced this, and then that score came out, and I was like, oh, my thoughts is exactly what it is. It's going to be shit. So I'm not looking forward to it that much. I mean, obviously, I'll be looking forward to the action pieces, and obviously seeing Harrison Ford say goodbye to this character, because those are always good, wholesome moments and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I have heard a lot of stuff about this. I heard that the plot is a bit messy. The action sequences, there's too many of them, and they don't quite work that well because of the overuse of CGI.
Right.
So there's some pretty big complaints about here. And whatnot. Haven't heard the score. I can't remember. I think it's John Williams. Not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But is this John Williams' last one before he retires? Was it not this film that he was
Wait, he's retiring?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
He can't retire. But I mean, he is composing this film, but I don't know if it can't be his last one, surely. I know he's at that
Unless I heard
age.
it from like, one of those sites that just clickbait, which is
Yeah.
not us, by the way. We don't clickbait
We
at
don't.
all. At all. No,
We got good quality stuff.
we do.
Yes.
But yeah, if this is John Williams' final score, not score, but final film composing,
Mm.
I hope at least the score is a major highlight.
Yeah.
Because the Indiana Jones film is easily one of the most iconic
That theme, yeah, for sure.
in cinema. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
hope like he can do it,
Mm.
do this film justice, and Harrison Ford's Exit Justice as
Yeah.
well.
I think the reason why I was starting to get like a little bit excited for it before these reviews dropped is because Steven Spielberg came out and said that he loved it. And, he's obviously starred the whole thing. So,
Yeah,
I mean, he did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But, it kind of makes me like wonder like the Disney effect on Indiana Jones.
I think the Disney effect on non-Disney projects
Mm,
is worrisome.
yeah.
They were given Star Wars,
Hmm.
and when they took over Star Wars, it wasn't the best condition, so to speak.
They made it worse.
Yeah,
I prefer the prequels more than the sequels.
me too.
Yeah.
I think the only highlight, I still think Phantom Menace and Clone Wars is probably one of the worst.
Clone Wars is worse, yeah.
Yeah. But at least like they have moments in there which makes it awesome. Clone Wars is there for the memes.
Yeah.
And just as
Yeah.
Sanders Quartz, I hate
Mm.
it, and then Phantom Menace, you have Darth Maul and you have like that final third act lightsaber duel. But in The Force Awakens, because that's easily one of the best.
I love Force Awakens, despite it being very similar.
Yeah.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Return of the Jedi, that missed the ball, and same with Rise of Skywalker.
No,
But
Return was good.
Huh?
Return of the Jedi was good. Do you mean The Last Jedi?
yeah, did I say Return?
Yeah. You said
Oh,
Return of the Jedi. I was like,
so-
damn. Like, hot take over here.
The last Jedi, sorry. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. They had scenes, but they weren't like, they didn't stick that well.
It was visually very good.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Ryan Johnson was great with that, but just the direction it went was just like it went too off the path the first one that Force Awakens had done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's probably best.
Mm.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is that Disney, they bought Fox and whatnot, but maybe they should still let Fox and Lucasfilm just carry on with their
Just
vision.
own the title of it and that's it.
Yeah.
It feels like they have too much influence and they have to have the Disney effect with it. And sometimes the properties don't really gel with it.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of Indiana Jones though, I just it's not for them. And I do believe having Disney working closely with this movie, I think is a bad thing. But, I got to a point where I'm like, this could be Top Gun Maverick of the year because it's debuting in Cannes very early. They're
Mhm.
very confident with it. And, it's kind of like a legacy sequel.
Mhm.
And it's going to close out this character. And it's from an iconic property back in the 80s. Everything
It
was
all
working.
lines up.
And then it's like 50%. It's like, oh, okay. All right. I just hope it's good fun while I'm there. That's all I really need at this point. Yeah.
Find out in June.
Yes, sir.
All right, next one, which is pretty much a topic that I never talk about because it's, I don't really watch these films that much. If Kyan was still here, he'll be all up in this. But the film's called Monster.
Mhm.
It's a Japanese film. The premise is a mother confronting her son's teacher when she notices changes in her son's behavior.
Mhm.
I did write down the director's name, but I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that. But what you need to know is that it's topped Cannes so far. It's 100% currently on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm.
Last time I checked before starting this podcast, could come down now. I'm not too sure. But it sounds like as if it's going to be not quite Parasite sort of levels, but it's up there with one of the good foreign films. I'm not sure if you've heard much of this film, but if you have, what are your thoughts on it? And if you haven't, are you going to look into it a bit more before we get to see it?
Yeah, man. Well, this movie, the director, he directed Shoplifters. Don't know if you heard of that one.
No.
It's 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. Very good movie. It opened up our New Zealand Film Festival here, I think, in 2018? Yeah. So That's the only thing I've seen. I know that he did one very recently because Madman sent us a media alert on it, and that was it. But that movie it's called Broker, and they got 94%. So this director is a very talented director. I didn't even know this movie was coming until you've mentioned it now, and so I did a little bit of digging with it, and I mean I'm excited. I'm just straight away on board because you go through this filmography and it's clearly very decorated, and from what I've seen for Shoplifters, he's a very talented director. So yeah, it's like, and the plot itself sounds interesting and it feels intimate, and it's something that he could really craft into something that feels very intimate. You feel very with the characters and just providing very close-up lens into that kind of dynamic with the family and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's going to be a movie that I hope that we get at our film festival.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a movie that can get to the Oscars, just because limited exposures, has all the campaigning, political stuff behind what makes an Oscar film get nominated and whatnot.
I mean, if Parasite made it, surely this can.
That's Bong Joon-ho, and he's a much more acclaimed and Hollywood liked director, I'd say.
Right.
Hollywood known director, we'll say that. Because he's directed English properties as well.
Drive My Car. Was that not nominated for an Oscar a couple of years back?
That was during COVID season, so it may have been an influence on it. We'll see. But yeah, man, I'm definitely on board with it. I hope we get it with our one. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Me too. I don't need to talk anymore because I think I said it in my questioning or before my question.
Nothing else to add? You sure?
Nothing else to add because I have not seen anything else. Right, now we're moving on to what I feel is the main event of this first week of Cannes Film Festival. It is a film that I'm eagerly anticipating. I am sure James is. I'm pretty sure it was on both of our top 10s of this year.
Yeah.
Yep. It's Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, with Leonardo DiCaprio obviously coming in, and it also has Robert Downey Jr. and everyone else under the sun. This one got a 9-minute standing ovation at Cannes. It is 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jesus Christ. Does this get you any more hyped?
No. Doesn't get me more excited at all. Because it's exactly how I predicted things to go down. It's what I expect.
Yeah.
You got Robert De Niro, you got Martin Scorsese, you got Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, if it's anything less than what this is, then I'm disappointed.
If you take away Leonardo DiCaprio,
it's Martin Scorsese.
Were you excited for The Irishman? To this level?
No, not to this level.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know. I was excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been my most anticipated. It's definitely one I was excited for. But that movie was highly regarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and got like I don't remember the minute long ovations it got. But yeah, that's a decorated movie. Got nominated for a bunch of things. So I think when you have Scorsese directing anything, you can expect it to be very good. When you got Robert De Niro there as well, and Leonardo DiCaprio, you're going to get some good cinema. Like, yeah. It's just a guarantee. If this was like 88, I would be shocked. I'd be like, wow, this is like very, like, and it sounds silly because there's only 30 reviews or something like that. Yeah, it would sound silly to complain about that, but yeah, when you have these types of guys and like
the best of the best.
Yeah, these are like legends in cinema. So I expected exactly how this went, simply because Apple TV, they gave Martin Scorsese, do whatever you want, $200 million. Here you go.
That's what Disney should do.
Yeah, highest budgeted film for Apple TV, highest budgeted film for Martin Scorsese ever, and Leo, who's probably like the best actor of his generation, and then Robert De Niro, who's one of the best of his generation, and then Martin Scorsese, who's probably the best of his generation. Like,
it's just the best of the best of the best.
Exactly. So you're going to get some of the best stuff that you've seen here. And we'll dive into a little bit of the first footage and the runtime. But man, I'm so excited. Like, we watched a trailer together before, and I was like, please, please, can this be at New Zealand Film Festival, which is from the middle of July to the middle of August.
Yeah,
and this comes out in October. So I mean, like, fingers crossed. Like, otherwise, I'm gonna try and put some strength at Apple TV in New Zealand to try and get something there. But yeah, like, I need it ASAP.
Yeah, same.
It'd be the perfect movie to have at our film festival.
Same. I'm so excited for this film as well. As you already know, like, Leonardo DiCaprio is my favorite actor, and then this is quite high on my top 10. I'm pretty sure it's top 5. I can't remember my list exactly, but this is quite high on it. And like, seeing that score is just like, this is definitely worth it. Like, we're going to get a good film over here. We saw the trailer. We'll dive into that a bit later, but like, I saw these reactions before I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
So like, I saw the reviews and the score, and then I watched the trailer. I was like, now I understand why it's this high.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
So yeah, I can't wait for this to come out. And you mentioned NZIFF.
2 Fs. Yep.
Yep. NZIFF.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Bring Killers of the Flower Moon to New Zealand Film Festival.
Well, I mean, they're bringing Past Lives over here, which is tracking really high in the Oscar conversation.
Yeah.
So we'll be definitely seeing that one. But in their press release that they sent to our email, it said Cairns Film Festival is coming up, so we'll have lots to preview there and hopefully bring some over to our film festival. So if you're listening, that is one you got to bring. That in Asteroid City, and I'll be a happy chappy.
And Monster.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
and Monster.
I think that one will definitely be coming.
Yeah. I think
just
so
because
too.
Shoplifters opened up the 2018 film festival.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the next few topics is obviously going to be Killers of the Flower Moon based. If you guys are strapping, I'll get into the runtime first. So the runtime for this film so far, and probably it's going to stay that way after this reception, is 3 hours and 26 minutes. So Martin Scorsese is always known for his long films. The Irishman was close to 3 hours, if not more.
Yeah.
Was it 4 hours? I have no idea.
No, I think it was very close to this. I think it was like over 3.5 though.
It was very long. Wolf of Wall Street, that's another long one as well, pushing 3 hours. This will make it in almost 3.5 hours. He released a runtime and then he made a comment. His comments are, I say to the audience, if there is an audience for this kind of thing, make a commitment. Your life might be enriched. This is a different kind of picture. I really think it is. Which is pretty much what we were saying before of runtimes. Like, if you're a fan of that film, and if you want to see a good movie, you'll be committed to that runtime. I feel that's what he's saying here, but in a more fancier way.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this 3 hours and 26 minute runtime? Does that deviate your hype a bit for it, or are you just still the same?
I'm still the same. I expected a long runtime. I don't know if I was expecting this one. I think anything over the 3 hour mark, I look at it, I'm like, whoa, that's very, very long. But, he's done Silence. That was 2 hours and 41 minutes. Wolf of Wall Street, as you said, 3 hours. I think Irishman was 3 hours and 29 minutes. So, it's for any Martin Scorsese movie, he's not scared to really push the audience in terms of its runtimes. And what he's saying here is it's absolutely correct. And beyond just Scorsese projects, it's with any movie that exceeds that 3 hour mark. I mean, I don't want to have the conversation of MCU in a conversation with Scorsese stuff, but Endgame, you're obviously committed to that. I mean, you enjoy that experience despite the length. You even Avatar: The Way of Water, you're committed to that and you enjoy the length of it because the movie has something to say. There's a reason for it being that length. And I think with this movie, I think it's just going to be so in touch with Martin Scorsese's vision. I don't think there's going to be any back and forth to studios and arguing it. I think Apple TV, they're going to bow down and be like, do whatever you want, man. Like, honestly, this is all yours. So for a director of Scorsese's caliber to create a movie like this, and similar to the way Irishman was, and I know Netflix gave him a lot of leeway with that, and budgeting as well. I wasn't a big fan of Irishman. I appreciate the movie for what it is, and it is like, I don't know, describe it in terms of it's a work of art, but not one that I can personally love. I don't see that with this movie. But yeah, it could go either way in terms of how the runtime affects my love for it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's very long and it's a movie that I can't really get emotionally invested in, I will struggle to get through the entire movie. Yeah. I think that's the best way to describe it. I have to have an emotional attachment for a movie of that length to really be into it for 3.5 hours. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm somewhat different to you. Like, I don't really need an emotional attachment. Like, obviously, like that helps. But like, if I'm enjoying a performance in a film,
yeah,
I'm more than happy to watch that performance for however long. If the score's amazing, I'm happy to see or happy to listen to the score no matter how long it is. Same with visuals. If it's like fantastic, I'm excited to see the visuals and the cinematography for however long that is. So the runtime doesn't really bother me. It never really has. Like with Avatar, I don't like that franchise. And then you said that the runtime was 3 hours, but the visuals is just fucking fantastic. So that's what made me enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
The Way of Water, that is.
They're both good visually.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about like my comment about how I'm not a fan, and
I think the first one's quite long as well.
Not 3 hours though.
2 hours and 45 or something like that. But I mean, you say that, and it reminded me of John Wick 4 that came out, and that's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, and I wasn't like, I don't really have an emotional investment in those movies. I'm there for the action. I'm there for the visuals, the score as well.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with what you're saying. If it can pull me in on the visual and the audio sound of like that kind of side of things, then I can definitely like be on board with this movie. Yeah. But if it's not getting me on those levels and I can't emotionally, it's not emotionally resonating with me, I'm going to struggle to get through it. Yeah. But overall, like, I know Scorsese, and I don't ever worry at all that I won't be invested in this at all. I'm going to love it.
Yeah. Me too. All right, now we move on to the trailer. So he released a trailer, I think it was just before the movie premiered, or a couple of days before. Yep. I've seen nothing but positive stuff online about this trailer. I'm yet to see a negative thing. If I see a negative thing, then I'm going to thank any one of these listeners for trying to sabotage it. But yeah, we watched the trailer just before we did this podcast. You watched it for the first time. I watched it for the second time.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the trailer? And what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, going back to what you said about a negative thing about the trailer, if someone has a negative view on this trailer, definitely message us on Twitter. I really, respectfully, don't throw insults.
And, you guys are fucking dumb cunts.
I really want to hear that argument, because I don't know how anyone possibly could watch this trailer and be like, this looks like shit. I could not see it. I could see not interested, but that's not what we're asking. If it's bad trailer, tell us, because I want to hear that argument. But I will respect the opinion, but I will not agree with it, and I will disregard it respectfully.
Yeah, that's why James takes care of the comments, because I will just bite back.
No, you don't bite back. All you do is post a smiling, laughing face.
Yeah, emojis is enough to say 1,000 words.
No, it's not. And don't nod at me. This is why we don't have a camera. It's because of the nodding. I completely forgot the premise of your question.
Twitter.
No. What the question in terms of the trailer? What did I think of it? Yes, obviously I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I only just watched it now, but some of those sweeping landscape shots, even the close, intimate stuff, I thought it was, beautiful. The goofy accent by Leo sounds perfect for what this is.
Yeah.
It seems, dramatic. It seems intense. And I think that's why I was not fully on board with The Irishman. The tone felt very, not dull, but just very slow and steady and calm. This one seems like it's got a sense of urgency. There's really some powerful storytelling, something with pace as well. So I'm fully on board with this. I'm glad in terms of visually, it looks amazing. I think from the performances, from the looks of it, it looks incredible. It looks intense. It looks like, I don't want to say it, but it looks like it's going to be Martin Scorsese's swan song.
Yeah.
And, we're going to talk about in terms of, the teasing their retirement and stuff like that. But it feels like this might go down as one of Scorsese's best. And if anyone's a fan of cinema, you don't say that lightly because his filmography is incredible.
Hell yeah.
And so for any movie to be one of his best, it's one of the best movies, period. So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, first glimpse of this movie, man, I don't need to see any more. Just get me to the fucking cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Are you same as me?
Pretty much the same as you. I'll probably, if there's another trailer, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Just because I think this trailer is just perfect enough as it is. It gives you the visuals. You know what you're going to expect visually, cinematography from it. Cinematographically.
That's not a word. But we know what you mean. Yeah. That's the main thing.
From it, there's not that much said about this plot. We know it's based on a Native American woman. And it seems like a domesticated American man in Leonardo DiCaprio's character.
Yeah.
Assuming. Coming in and obviously they have a relationship together. And you can see that tension as well and the protectiveness that he has of her and vice versa of him in that trailer.
Yeah.
Even in like split seconds. There's nothing more. I hope the score is an actual composed score, not just like a trailer score.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was pretty fantastic as well. It seems like, do you think it's going to use natural lighting in this, similar to Revenant?
Oh, I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah.
I think where they can, Scorsese will opt for natural lighting, but sometimes it's just very hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like you, just give me this fucking movie now, man. Like, New Zealand Film Festival, just fucking do it. Do whatever you have to.
Exactly. We won't need to watch the second trailer because we've already seen the movie.
Yeah.
And but this is a very high profile movie to get. I hope they can because, it's only 2 months away, the film festival, and I don't know if I can last much longer than that.
I don't think I can, especially with this teaser. And like, we've got more film festivals coming. I'm sure like they will show that as well. You're going to hear all those reactions and then everyone's going to see it before us. And we're just like,
it's going to keep hyping. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want hype anymore. I'm already hyped. Like, I can't get any more hype. Just give us
the good news
film.
About the New Zealand Film Festival is that it takes place before a lot of the major ones, like Toronto Film Festival, New York Film Festival. I don't know which one comes first between Venice and that, but I know we're one of the first in terms of the circuit. I remember one of the film festivals we had seen Call Me By Your Name, the Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet one. It's the one that boomed Timothée Chalamet to the actor he is today. Without that movie, he wouldn't be as big. We saw that movie before most people, and it was like 20 reviews, 100%. And we're like, okay, well, we obviously have to see this. We saw it and we're like, wow, this was amazing. And then, it became like a massive Oscar contender. And no one had seen it. And like, when we posted the review, everyone was like, what's this movie? And stuff like that. And then like, I think like months later down the line, the the review got a lot more engagement because everyone's like coming back and be like, I just saw this movie. This is amazing. So I think film, and in terms of film festivals, New Zealand one is quite early. And that's gonna be good because we get to see these good stuff first.
Hopefully we get to see Killers of the Flower Moon first.
Well, I mean, next week we're going to be covering week 2 of Canes, and that's where Asteroid City will come in.
Oh, fuck, another one that I'm so excited
for. I think Asteroid City's out of competition, so for the Palme d'Or, so it won't be in line to get that, but it'll be interesting to see who wins that award. As for our film festival, I think we're going to get one or the other, Asteroid City or Flower Moon. I think we get Asteroid City because it comes out in August anyway. So
yeah,
because USA gets Asteroid City in June. See, New Zealand and small budget movies, they don't come together very well.
No, it's very cunty at sometimes.
This is why we do our top 10s in May.
Halfway through the year. Oh, you guys are dropping your top 10s of 2022? Yeah, because we just literally fucking saw the last one. That's why. You Northern Hemisphere people. All right, we'll move on from film festivals and we'll go on to Martin Scorsese.
It's kind of the same thing right now.
So, yeah. You pretty much said it throughout your comments throughout this entire segment. That he's well decorated director, one of the
Yep.
best of this generation, if not ever.
Mhm.
He hasn't confirmed his retirement. He hasn't confirmed that Killers of the Flower Moon is his swan song. It's his final film,
Yeah.
but he has teased it. There is a quote of his that was released. It pretty much says, "I'm old. I read stuff. I want
Mhm.
to tell stories, and there's no more time." I don't know exactly how old he is. I feel if I had to take a guess, it's around about the high 80s, close to 90s.
He's 80.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 80. That's still quite very old for a
That's
director.
very old, yeah.
But the fact that, like, it's like not quite a whatever, it's similar to a backhanded compliment, like a backhanded statement, like he's teasing us that he has all these like story ideas, but there's not enough time. And it's just like, fuck, what are these story ideas that you want?
Yeah.
Or want to tell?
Mm.
What do you think on this retirement? Do you think Killers of the Flower Moon should be his swan song, or do you want to see him have one more where he just gives it his all?
I don't know. It's similar to the Johnny Depp stuff we talked about earlier. Like, I want whatever he wants. He's at the level where, he can just do whatever he wants. And I think anyone who is a fan of film or movies, just accept it because he's given us so much. And he doesn't owe us anything more. He doesn't owe us Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, if he was to be like, oh, I don't want to release this, like, cancel it, and then, like, retires, I mean, sure, I'd be sad, but I'd respect it because I'm like, he's had a decorated life as a director. He's given me a lot film-wise, so go do you. I'll be fine. I'm looking forward to what the new generation directors can bring. But I saw this quote, and I saw what he was talking about. He was talking about someone had said a quote very similar when he was younger, coming up as a director.
I think I have that quote.
Yeah. And he was saying that he didn't understand it, but now he does. Yeah.
Pass my phone over to James.
All right. So now the quote in front of me because Nan's given me his phone. Yeah. But yeah, no, Martin Scorsese was going into about how Kurosawa, when he got his Oscar, he said, "I'm only now beginning to see the possibility of what cinema could be, and it's too late." Martin Scorsese is saying that now he knows what that means.
Yeah.
And so, something like that, I read that and I felt real, like, sad. It was quite hard to, like, read because, the fact that Martin Scorsese, he's given us so much in terms of great films, and he's 80 years old and he's just understanding, like, what cinema could be. And he's saying there's no more time.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty brutal. And, like, with a filmography as decorated as his, he's only beginning to appreciate what he can do and be for cinema now. I find that pretty hard to see. But in terms of the retirement, whatever he wants to do, whatever he's up to do, directing is a very tough job. You're bringing everything together. That's why composers can go on a little bit longer, but directors, I think, 80 years old, it's tough to do.
A lot more hands-on.
Yeah, but Martin Scorsese, he's like the embodiment of cinema, I think. The way he talks about it, like, cinema is everything to this guy. Like, he just talks about it in a way that I don't see passion flow through people that much. He's so obsessed with what cinema is, what it can be, what he can contribute to it. And if he feels like he's still got more stories to tell, he's got more to contribute, give him all the resources in the world to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's like, I've told my stories, I want to rest now. I'm fully right with that as well.
Yeah. I wonder if his quote is relating to, how films nowadays are very high in franchises and sequels and stuff. So, like, he wants to tell stories, but no one would watch him, because they were seeing his franchise and stuff. So there's no more time to convince people to watch his films or watch these sort of films,
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's sort of somewhat alluding to that rather than retirement, and like just him seeing like these franchises just pretty much dominate where no one wants to watch these smaller films or films with like that tells directors stories that gets into the limelight, because franchise is just so dominant.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It could be a mix of that. That could be a factor that kind of deters him from making movies now. It's when you're making movies and you're not getting the larger audience. What incentive does that give you to create making more movies? I think so. I think it's part of that. It might even speed up his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But let me pitch to you before we close off this subject. His final movie, Secret Wars. Avengers Secret Wars in 2026, 2025.
That would actually be so hype, but then he would be going against everything that he said before to Marvel, because he was very anti-Marvel and what they do and whatnot.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
But if he did.
That's fucking gonna be an amazing movie.
Oh.
And he brings on Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, these fucking big guns into this film.
I would love for him to do like a MCU movie. I know it'd be stupid and I'd go against everything, but if he did it, because he could show what the MCU could be as well. I just think it'd be very interesting.
Yeah,
me
too.
I want those kind of directors onto those kind of projects.
Yeah, well, hopefully some more gets into there. I mean, Nolan hasn't quite dabbled into the MCU, but he has dabbled into franchises and comic books and
made the best one ever.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Martin Scorsese could top that. Yeah.
He could. He's a talented director.
One of the best ever
of all time.
Would you say he's the best director of all time?
There's a lot of good. I would say it. I think with this, if you take everything into consideration, his filmography, the quality of his films, the scores, of Rotten Tomatoes, and just the cast that he brings in for these films.
Yeah,
I think he is probably one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's continuing with Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah,
Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg. I think earns a rank among the top 10.
Yeah, I think there's not a single director that is the greatest of all time. I think it's in tiers. So you have your GOAT section, and then you have your next section, and your next section, and your next section. But I don't think there's one top dog.
I think Stanley Kubrick is the one that is mentioned to be the top or the king.
Is it because he redefined so much?
Yeah, I mean, look at his filmography after this podcast, and you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I know all these movies, and I haven't seen a single one." It's kind of like that. If I had to put it in terms of basketball terms, Scorsese is LeBron, and Stanley Kubrick is Michael Jordan.
Right,
1 and 2.
Okay. All right.
But now you understand what I mean.
I do understand what you mean.
So it works.
Yeah. All right. That will not do us on Let's Be Real because I have a surprise one.
Oh.
Subject.
This is not on the script.
Exactly. It is. It doesn't really take that much time. It's just a more fun thing that I saw throughout the week that I saw this and I was like, they don't need to make this effort, but it's fucking cool.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's Quentin Tarantino. He came out and said Rick Dalton, a character he wrote for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, has passed away at the sad age of 90 years old. Now, obviously, Rick Dalton is a fictional character in one of his films, but the fact that he went out of his way to announce his death, it's just so much fun, and I just love it so much. What do you think of this? And do you think more directors should have this much fun with their characters that they've directed or not directed, but created in the past and stuff?
No, it's funny. I was actually gonna screenshot one of the things about this and then send it to you. So it's funny you've brought it up now. But yeah, no, I actually do. I think it's just it's goofy and it's nerdy, and I like it because he thinks of it as its own world. And I remember this came out, I saw it, and I actually thought to myself, I was like, I'd actually like a kind of universe of an alternate universe that's realistic to Hollywood, because this feels like that. There's no reason to announce the death of a fictional character, especially when there's only one movie. It makes no sense. But then I'm like, I could buy into a alternate universe Hollywood with actors playing actors kind of thing.
Yeah. I
think it would just be a lot of fun. It would be really silly. And I just love that Quentin Tarantino thinks about it like this. It's just, I think it's unique. I would appreciate it more along the line obviously it's a big task, but Tarantino's obviously really in love with what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was. So if I know he's like his last movie's coming out, it's called like the Film Critic or something like that.
Yeah.
But if he wanted to just get into a universe of Once Upon a Time, that kind of era of Hollywood, fully down. Love it. Yeah.
Me too. I love your work, Quentin, and this is just another
Yeah.
reason why you're a fantastic director.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rick.
It's just sad that I teared up a little.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers with your family.
Yeah.
Sweet as guys, that will now do us on the Let's Be Real podcast. Hope you've all enjoyed it, the show we've been listening from, and that surprise little subject as well. If you think we're idiots, message us, tell us. We'll probably agree with you because we are fucking idiots.
We're not idiots.
We're special.
We're cool.
We're cool. All right. If you have any questions about this episode, be sure to hit us up on social media. Or if you want to tell us that we're idiots, hit us up on social media. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube. Or if you want to see what else you get up to here and there, head over to moviegains.com. We got all the latest box office news, film and physical media 4K reviews, and a whole lot more. And be sure to sign up for our newsletter so you can keep up to date with us. And hey, if you love today's episode of Let's Be Real and you want to hear more, check us out on Spotify or wherever the hell you get your podcasts from. We don't care. Just listen to us. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. Catch you on our next episode. We're Movie Gains. See you later.
Peace.